At 1:22 of the fourth round, Jerry Quarry disposed of Tony Doyle as the fight was stopped by referee Johnny Thomas. And now we're awaiting the principals for tonight's main event. And of course, that means Muhammad Ali and Ken Norton. And while we're waiting, we thought it would be advisable to bring you back, so to speak, to March 31st and let you see what happened then and what will happen tonight. As you well know, Bud Furillo has explained it many times. Muhammad Ali claims he did not train for the San Diego TIFF, but he claims that he's worked harder for this one than at any time in his career.
15 weeks, he says. I was climbing those mountains around Deer Lake, Pennsylvania, and every day when I'd go up, I'd say, Norton, 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 Norton. I'm going to get you, Norton. Now, there's a controversy about when the jaw was broken, Chick. Norton says the 12th round, Ali says the 2nd round, and Ali adds. He says, Norton did the hurting, I did the feeling. I should know when it was broken.
When we had a press conference here at the Fabulous Forum, about 4 months ago, to announce this fight, Ali took over, and he really made some statements, did he not?
He wasn't subdued that day, was he?
I think that both men tonight are a little bit subdued. The first thing that happened when we got into the dressing room of Kenny Norton tonight, he came over about 5:30 L.A. time, and he was playing music and feeling very good and very confident. We're going to go to round 6 now of the first Muhammad Ali-Ken Norton fight in San Diego. Remember, March 31st, that's not long ago. Once more, let's join Howard Cosell. You know, Bud Furillo, some historian once made a very sound statement about the month of March. Remember it?
Was it Julius Caesar who said, beware the eyes of March?
You know why I picked that up?
Muhammad Ali. 2 losses, both of them in the month of March. March 8, 1971, decision to Joe Frazier. March 31, 1973, decision by Ken Norton. He should stay away from March.
Well, he's away from March right now. Quite a ways away.
He'll be marching right in pretty soon, too.
As on September the 10th here, we wait for the big return bout. All the talking, all the publicity, all the ranting, the raving, all the preparation, it's all done now. And we will get a result here in the not-too-distant future.
Another defeat hasn't done anything to diminish his popularity, Chick. Muhammad arrived in town, the new Marriott Hotel here in Los Angeles. Everywhere he goes, hundreds of people shouting, following him. I wish you could have seen the pushing and shoving scene after the weigh-in, people trying to get into the elevator. That must have been what it was like on the Titanic at the lifeboat deck.
Muhammad must be regarded as having done as much for boxing as any fighter in the history of the game.
Well, there's no question about it. He's the biggest, fastest man who ever fought, and also he has shown the ability to take great punches.
All right, we're all set now to take you back to San Diego via film to round number 10. And for round number 10 of the first bout, ladies and gentlemen, Muhammad Ali and Ken Norton in the ring. I think it's interesting, Bud Furillo, that in the first fight that we're looking at on film, it was a 5-to-1 choice. The odds makers made Ali the favorite. Tonight, what is it?
Well, that Greek god of odds has looked down from a crap table in Las Vegas and said that it's 2.5-to-1 Ali.
How do you like that?
Well, gee, I don't know what to say. Ken Norton certainly did the job in the first fight. We're looking at the film. I can't believe that's Ali. He must have had the jaw broken early. There's none of the movement that you expect from him. No dancing at all. However, in the 11th round, he did come on a bit, which is another indication of his great courage.
Everybody's talking about the great conditioning of Muhammad Ali for this fight. 9 pounds less at 212. He weighed 221. But don't forget the very rippling, muscled body of Kenny Norton was at 210 for the first fight. He's at 205.
Yes, and Ali thinks that's going to work in his favor. He believes that Ken Norton is too fine at 205. He says you've got to have some gas, man. You've got to have extra weight. He says I can lose 5 or 6 pounds and it won't bother me. He says, but if Norton loses 5 or 6 pounds, he'll be too weak.
Now, in the Joe Bugner fight that we covered for the closed circuit television and Top Rank at Las Vegas, Ali stayed on his toes quite a bit in that fight and won the decision. Now we'll go to round 12 of the March 31st fight, Ali and... ladies and gentlemen, there is no hypnotism for tonight's bout. Kenny Norton told us that, and you'll see him say it and hear him say it a little bit later on tonight. But there are 36 minutes of potential slugging, pounding, shoving, every concept of boxing skill exerted in this ring and on the screen that you're looking at coming up very, very shortly. Bud Perillo, the sports editor of the Los Angeles Herald-Examiner, is working with yours truly, Chick Hearn, and I want to tell you that Bud is one of the foremost boxing writers in the world. And I'm going to pin you down a little bit more than I have, Bud. We've talked about condition of both men, obviously very, very sharp. Who do you think will win the fight, and why?
I believe that Muhammad Ali will recapture a lot of his old self and stop Kenny Norton in 10 rounds. Because, for the simple reason, he has said over and over again, he has never really trained for a fight. That's a fact. He says, the only time that I train is when I'm fighting one of those blonde, blue-eyed devils. And he looked down at Norton one day, he says, and that night you're going to be a blonde, blue-eyed devil.
That's exactly what he said at a press conference right here at the Fabulous Forum. Now, you said he's going to stop Ken Norton. Norton has had 31 fights.
That's
He's
right.
been stopped once, and that was by Jose Luis Garcia.
Right, knocked out at the Olympic Auditorium in Los Angeles.
1970. And are you going to tell me that Ali, who has not knocked anybody out, he stopped people, but he has not knocked anybody out since 1967, is going to do it tonight? You think it'll be a TKO then?
Oh, yes. He will not put Norton down for 10. He hasn't done that to anybody since Zora Foley. But when he gets it all going, they'll stop it.
He has the ability to cut a man with his slashing punches. In fact, Joe Bugner in the Vegas fight in February had never been cut before, and he was cut in the first round, but credit to the big German kid. He hung in there and made quite a fight out of it. Now, Norton has been cut, but not often.
Chick, I think that if Ali would come back to the Bugner fight, he could beat Norton. If you recall, against Bugner, he was on his toes throughout the fight. Just marvelous job of ring generalship in boxing.
He created the phrase long time ago, but hasn't lived up to it in his recent fights. But he does say now, I'm going to float like a butterfly and sting like a bee.
And something about, I've got my endurance and Norton's going to need insurance.
But Norton says that this is going to be, to take a title of a very famed movie, a requiem for a heavyweight.
Well, you know, Kenny Norton has a lot of admiration for Muhammad Ali. And he said it's tough to go up against a legend, but legends must die too. And it's time for the Norton legend to start. Maybe Ken Norton is destined for the greatest things in boxing. And what a body, huh? I've never seen a body like that fella has.
He certainly is put together, I'll say that. When you think about the great heavyweight physiques, I think, of course, of Max Baer.
Oh, he was fat compared to Kenny Norton.
That's
really?
right.
Yeah.
But he had shoulders that, you know, he had to go in the ring sideways. They're coming in tonight from all over Southern California, from all over the world. And, of course, we're sending this picture to you throughout the world, and we hope that you're going to enjoy it. The first bout, in case you missed it, ended in a fourth-round TKO for Jerry Quarry. And as you heard in our interview with Jerry and Gil Clancy, his manager, they are now very, very much in line for a shot at George Foreman's title.
Chick, we were talking a little earlier about perhaps Norton is overconfident. I got that from Eddie Bossman Jones, one of his sparring partners. Kenny doesn't see how he can lose. I mean, this was the mood of his training camp. And maybe one of the reasons for it is a fellow who works with him by the name of Pete Mole Man Williams. I have never seen a better imitation of Muhammad Ali than the Mole Man can give. He just looks exactly like him in there. And it's interesting also that Mole Man trained Joe Frazier, sparred with him when he fought Ali.
Muhammad Ali did his training at Deer Creek, Pennsylvania, where he has put about $250,000 into a training facility, one of the most lavish, I guess, ever put up by a boxer himself. And, of course, Kenny Norton trained right here in California. Norton and Ali both came to town about 5 days ago. And since that time, of course, the press has responded. They have taken not only to Ali, but to Norton. And some very flattering, some very controversial things have been said and written. I would think that probably what'd you say it is, 5-2, the odds?
Yes.
Is pretty generally accepted. Anybody taking Norton? Huh?
Well, Chick, I'll have to go up a few aisles there and see what they're doing. I know where they are. Ken Norton is a very likable guy, one of the most intelligent boxers I've ever met. Really, he can talk to you about a lot of things. He went to college, played end, very good football player, went there on a football scholarship, could have been a professional football player.
You know,
some kind of athlete.
In high school, Norton ran 109.9.
Well, he may have to run faster tonight.
You know what sports Muhammad participated in? Softball, basketball, and volleyball, but Muhammad held a championship.
I thought he was always on a debate team.
No, He won a marbles championship. He said he had the surest knuckles in Louisville.
Well, that probably explains how he became such a great speaker. He must have practiced with those marbles in his mouth.
We have got, as you can understand, celebrities from radio, television, the film world, and from every country here tonight.
Yeah, the boss is here, Frank Sinatra.
And the boss of the Fabulous Forum, Jack Kent Cooke, is in New York tonight. Sammy Davis Jr. making his way in. I'll tell you, Sammy Davis and Muhammad Ali are about as close as two people can get. They are really something. When he defeated Bugner in Las Vegas, Davis beat me in the ring. I was going to do the interview.
Is that Bob Foster there?
That's Rune Arledge.
On camera. Oh, is that Sammy?
There's Frank Sinatra there. And you know who the guy is on the left, don't you?
Oh, yes, Howard. You can't ever get away from
Rune
Howard. I
Arledge
love
there
him.
with the glasses. Sinatra and Frankie, or not Frankie, but Sammy Davis Jr. And this town that has been awaiting this bout, now just about to be rewarded for that long, diligent wait. Tickets were scaled at $100 down. You know what Kenny Norton and his great manager Kenny Futch have in common?
No, I don't.
Their birthdays, the same day. August the 9th, different years.
Quite a few. Eddie Futch is 62 and Kenny's 29. And Eddie Futch, Chick, I don't think anybody
what?
Anybody took the death of Yancey Durham harder than Eddie Futch did. They were very close.
Does that mean that Eddie might take over some of the properties?
A distinct possibility that he will become the manager of Joe Frazier and Bob Foster.
Fernando Lamas, we had on your screen a moment ago. There are a couple of reporters from overseas. They're here from everywhere. Lots of interest in this fight, and we know that's why
of course,
the
person with San Fernando Lamas is his wife, Esther Williams.
That's right. Also here, Mr. and Mrs. Peter Falk. Bud Schulberg is here with Mrs. Schulberg.
That's my man waving at me.
Frank Sinatra, that's right. He is a great boxing man. When I did the Ali Frazier fight at Madison Square Garden, he was right in the corner. Remember, he shot some pictures that were so good that Life magazine used them.
Yeah, and that was the end of Life magazine, too.
There's a pretty good picture right there.
I'm only kidding, Frank. They were great pictures.
Just to refresh your memory now of the rules that we'll have tonight, it'll be 12 rounds, and it is for the North American Heavyweight Championship.
Francis Albert.
Many people call Los Angeles the boxing capital of the world. But only 2 heavyweight championship fights have ever been held here. 1949, Joe Louis stopped Jack Roper, and in 1958, Floyd Patterson stopped Roy Cut-and-Shoot Harris.
But the Lewis fight was not for the title, Chick. It was before Joe became champion.
Thank you for correcting me on that.
You're welcome.
I appreciate that sincerely. We got the 5-point must system, and Bud Barillo has that down pat. Bud?
In California, they use what is called the 5-point must system, which we'll explain again. The winner of a round gets anywhere from 1 to 5 points. The loser gets 0. To get 5 points, I think it'd be almost impossible. It takes 2 knockdowns to get 3, and maybe 3 knockdowns to get 4 points.
You know, you talk about great fights that Top Rank Incorporated sends to the fans on closed-circuit television. Everybody in the place is standing up and looking to the opposite end from where the fighters will appear or are scheduled to appear. But with Muhammad here, you never know where he might make his way from into the arena or the Fabulous Forum. I think that there's a couple of guys who couldn't wait for the ring fight, so they started one of their own.
Yeah, I suspect we've got an off-TV fight there.
One that Top Rank Incorporated is going to carry for you boxing fans will be on September the 22nd, welterweight champion of the world, Jose Napoles of Mexico, and Clyde Ray of Canada. Brought to you, Top Rank Incorporated. That ought to be quite a fight.
Jose Napoles is possibly the best fighter pound for pound in the business.
There you see some action, and that's the kind of action you'll see September 22nd when Top Rank Incorporated brings you the welterweight bout between the champion Jose Napoles and Clyde Ray.
I believe we're looking at Napoles' knockout of Indian Red Lopez.
That's what it is.
What a punch it is that he knocks him out with, too. You will see one terrific right hand.
Napoles is in the white. Oh, he's throwing some leather, isn't he?
Beautiful fighter. They call him mantequilla, which means in Spanish smooth as butter. Or
the Fabulous Forum in Inglewood, California, the home of the 1972 World Champion Lakers.
light heavyweight champion Bob Foster.
He's got on, as the boys would say, some threads.
Very quiet ensemble.
Ladies and gentlemen, the former
He is
Looks a lot like Jim Brown.
Yep. Joe Louis introduced. You talk about popularity.
He was the best.
Are you making a flat-out
He was
statement?
the best of all time.
The Brown Bomber has not made an appearance yet. I know he came down from Las Vegas, where he is regularly employed at Caesar's Palace. George Foreman, the heavyweight champion of the world. And
George has got on one of those new Hawaiian shirts. Just came back from Hawaii.
And he possibly saw his next opponent here tonight score a fourth-round knockout. Jerry Quarry over Tony Doyle in our first bout.
The new young lion, and he's really something.
We're waiting the entrance of the fighters, and they'll come right through that tunnel. The
I'm getting
Fabulous
excited,
Forum,
aren't you?
very aptly called the world's most beautiful sports theater. The home of the Los Angeles Kings of the National Hockey League and the Los Angeles Lakers of the National Basketball Association.